A brilliant comeback from Tottenham Hotspur this afternoon. Antonio Conte inspired. A horrific first half performance, outworked, outrun, outthought, outmaneuvered by Leeds United that took a 1-0 lead courtesy a goal of ex-Man United player Dan James. In the second half, you saw everything that Antonio Conte will demand from these players. They ran, they pressed, they got back into shape, and they didn't stop trying. The effort levels were there. And in football, when you've got the superior players, when you've got the better manager, if you work harder than your opponents, you will win 95% of your matches. The turnaround was Conte inspired. Still a lot of work for the Italian to do. We can see there the updated league table as it stands right now. They go into 7th place. But that top 4 race is almost as exciting as the title race. The title race will always be more exciting because it's to win the league title. But West Ham and Arsenal losing this weekend. You got Wolves and Spurs that picked up victories. Man United, of course, just sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who were just on the edge of this as well. It's going to be an amazing top 4 race for the remainder of the season. And they were horrific. They were horrendous in that first half, Tottenham. But as Antonio Conte gets his feet under this table, as he instills his way of doing things, his mentality, his approach to the game, this Tottenham team will definitely improve. No doubt about it. A transfer window is, of course, needed to help cement that. They need some additional players. Nobody is denying it. But in the cold, hard light of day, we saw a little bit of what Antonio Conte is about in this game, without a shadow of a doubt. And it is that passion, it is that desire. You see his celebration at the end is everything that kind of epitomizes him. He will put that in his players. And if you're somebody that doesn't want to work hard for the Spurs fans, if you don't want to run that every inch, in every moment, in every game, Antonio Conte will let you go. Antonio Conte will kick you to the side. And I'll get into my opinions later on some of the performances from Spurs players today. I'll also talk a little bit of Leeds United as well. But it was a very good, for me, second half performance watching. Spurs fans may feel a little different that you always do compared to a kind of non-fan watching your games. But I think Tottenham are going to be dangerous with Antonio Conte. I really do think they're going to be dangerous once they find their feet under him. And that second half performance is just a slither of what is yet to come. Twisted said it's 3 points. Yeah, absolutely. It's 3 points. I never know whether you're being sarcastic or whether you're being legit, but it was. Maria Williams here says he's a winner. That's what you want, a manager who wants to win. Kane played terrible again. It's so clear Kane is washed at Tottenham. Like, I tweeted about Harry Kane, and I know Leaf's going to come on in a minute. Leaf got a little bit twisted about it. So we're talking about Harry Kane was great. But Harry Kane, for me, looks in the first half especially, looked very disinterested on the pitch, along with a lot of other players in the Tottenham team. If Harry Kane doesn't want to stay, Antonio Conte is going to want him sold. And it may end up being one of the first things that he does to in terms of rebuilding this side. Kane may be a casualty in that. And for the great goal scorer that he is, you can't have anybody there that's a lame duck, and he didn't look very good at all today. So, if he was putting in the energy and the effort that Son and Moura put in, he's scoring more goals. He just looks lethargic. He just looks tired. There's something wrong with him right now. I don't think he's over the hill as a player. I really don't. We just see him kill it for England on international duty. I just think he doesn't totally want to be there right now, and I don't think Antonio Conte yet has changed his mind. I remember witnessing this with Man United with Wayne Rooney. When Wayne Rooney, ever since his first transfer request, Wayne Rooney was never the same player at Man United ever again. He was just a little bit off the pace. But that's for you lot to talk about. We're going to start going to your calls now. We've got man like Henry right backstage, Leafs backstage as well, to come on and have their say, to tell us what they think and feel. Make sure that like button has been smashed, people. Tottenham 2, Leeds United 1. Excellent comeback in the end. Let's take some of these calls. Henry's here with me. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good. Bit stressed after that, but I'm all good. Got the job done, didn't we? First half, that was probably one of the worst performances I think I've ever seen. Sloppy, giving the ball away. Just looked horrendous, to be honest, mate. Second half, I don't know what Conte said, but he managed to fire the boys up, and it was a much better half of football. We actually registered a shot on target. Kane probably should have scored inside the first minute. A decent chance. If he's in an England shirt, that's in the back of the net any day of the week. And then after that, the first goal, People will say it's lucky. I thought it was a bit of a good finish. Second goal, reguilon's, that's just a poacher's goal. That's a striker's goal. That's a Ronaldo goal, following it up, putting it in the back of the net. But people are already jumping on it. Yes, my name is Henry Wright, and I am a Spurs fan. It's unfortunate, but people are always jumping on the bandwagon. Your chat's going mad.
Yeah. It'll always go mad on here. There's so many rivals in our chat. It's crazy. I mean, you did see that turnaround today, and people are reactionary. I tweeted in the first half. I thought you were horrific in the first half, and people straight on me. Terry, you said Conte would get them top 4. You said this, you said that, and I'm like, I haven't written them off. I just said they were horrendous. Like they were really, really bad. But you saw that difference, and you could almost tell. You don't know exactly what he said at halftime, but his celebration to your second goal was it was a look as if to say, see, I just told you, if you work hard, this will happen. It wasn't like a celebration like he was overjoyed. It was like, I want to see more of this from you. At the end of the game, you saw that kind of come out of him. And you hope that starts to inspire the players. In terms of turning things around this season, I mean, even as bad as Nuno was, you were kind of there or thereabouts still. How confident are you of pushing for a big European place with Man United sort of coughing and spluttering and nobody being sold on Arsenal or West Ham, finalizing that 4 spots place? How confident are you now Conte's here?
Well, obviously, depending on what we buy in January, I think we need, 2 or 3 decent players, but you've just got to get Kane and Son firing. When Jose first come into the team, Kane and Son were unbelievable. They were firing on all cylinders, carrying that side. At the moment, we're not performing. And Conte's got, I said this the other day on my stream when people took the piss. This is the biggest job in his career for his reputation. If he flops, he comes off a massive high, winning the title with Inter, to being remembered from his last job at Fowling at Tottenham. However, if he turns this around, gets us back into Europe, and we buy the right players around him, this is the sort of manager you want in charge. If Kane and Ali aren't performing, they won't last very long under Conte. They're not like a Nuno, a yes man. Conte's the godfather. I believe he is here to stay, and I think he can get more out of this team, but we've got to back him in the window. West Ham and Arsenal not looking convincing at times this season. Obviously, West Ham had a big loss yesterday to Wolves. No one saw that coming. That just shows at any point in this season, it can just go up and down. But I'll take the 3 points today. We've got winnable games. We've got Norwich coming up. We've got Brentford coming up. We've got Burnley away next. These are all winnable games. West Ham have got the likes of City. Chelsea have got Man United. Arsenal have got Newcastle and other teams. We could easily get that 4th spot, but it's up for grabs for anyone this season.
It certainly isn't. That Man United will play a role in that. Depends on who they hire. Depends on who comes in, whether that works. But you've got that world-class manager, and I think what you pulled on there, if Kane doesn't want to be here, if Ali doesn't pull his socks up, Antonio Conte is going to demand for these players to leave. Antonio Conte has achieved more as a manager. Like, with respect, he's achieved more as a manager than your club has. And that's not a dig. Like, he is that successful. So it doesn't matter how many goals Kane's got. It doesn't matter how good the seasons were in the early years under Potts for Dele Alli. Antonio Conte is bigger. He's a more respected figure. He's a more powerful figure. And as long as Levy and your board allow Antonio Conte to do what he wants, he will yield. When I say yield success, it'll be relative. Will you win the league in the next 3 to 4 years with him? I don't know, because City and Chelsea and Liverpool are so good and so powerful. Man United on top of that have more money than you, as an example. But he could definitely yield you League Cups, FA Cups, good runs. He could get you back into the Champions League. And I think as long as your board and your owners give him what he needs and what he demands, there's every single chance. And sometimes those demands are selling a player who on paper everybody wants to keep. We saw this with Jose Mourinho at Man United. He wanted rid of Paul Pogba and Anthony Martial. The board decided to sided with the players. Jose hasn't gone on to do anything of any real note, but it isn't like Man United have gone on to do it. We haven't won anything since either. So it ended up being a bad decision for both parties. And Spurs don't want to end up doing that with Harry Kane, keeping him, losing a top-class manager. You end up winning nothing. And then it's like, we had an opportunity there. We could have done something with him in relation to that. But look, it looks really positive for yourselves there. What are the positions that you want to strengthen in January, Henry?
I think we need another striker, Vlahovic. I think the guy from Fiorentina, unbelievable at the moment. He would be my first buy, because Harry Kane, the last 2 or 3 seasons, don't get me wrong, has been one of the best players in the Premier League, but there's no competition there for him. He knows he's going to start every single game. And when you've got a striker that's doing crazy numbers at the moment for a team like Fiorentina, he would be my first buy. Then you've also got the likes of Kessie from AC Milan, a free transfer in the summer. You could potentially snap him up for 8 or 9 million or 10 million in January. Bring him in. You've got a DM you can build your team around. Kessie starts, informed Kessie starts for pretty much every team in the Premier League bar Liverpool, Chelsea, and City, pretty much, because they've already got Rodri, Kante. I think Kessie would walk into Man United's team tomorrow, and then potentially another centre back. We've brought in Romero, who looks to be a very, very good quality centre back, but we don't know what's happening with his injury, so he could be out for longer than expected. But a winger as well. We've got no one who can play down the right hand side, so it'd be a DM / creative player, a striker, and a winger. We could easily bring those in. We've got more money to spend than any club in the Premier League on financial fair play. We can spend 400 million, and the club earn more money on a match day from the amount of ticket prices we charge than pretty much every team in the Premier League bar Arsenal and United. The amount of money they're charging for these season tickets. Merchandise. The club have got sitting on millions. It's just, are they going to spend it? Are we actually going to back the manager?
Yeah, and that's what's key here. Do it. I remember in the summer when they were talking about Vlahovic or Martinez, and it was, they want to buy a partner for Harry Kane. They didn't buy anyone for him. We all knew what it was. They were talking to those players. If the deal was done to sell Harry Kane, there was going to be a replacement. And I think one of the reasons that Antonio Conte said no to you in the summer is because you didn't want to match his ambitions. He said yes now. I don't think it's because Antonio Conte was desperate, because he's a multi-millionaire. There's going to be another. There's always a job over the course of time. I think they've offered him what he wanted in the summer. I would be, as a Spurs fan, I would be quietly optimistic and confident. Maybe wait to see the first January go. And I know that at the start, you went 3-0 up against, I can't remember what they're called, Vianetta, whatever their name is, Vitesse. And then you conceded some goals. It was a really poor game against Everton. So the start hasn't been kind of scintillating under Antonio Conte. But remember, Chelsea's start under him, the first 3 or 4 games, including a pre-season, wasn't particularly great. It takes him a little bit of time to get ahead of speed. He isn't generally the first day he's there, you turn into a world-class team. It takes him a little bit of time. But the great thing was with Nuno's run is that, as I say, there's lots of terrible performances, but you were there or thereabouts. You actually won quite a few games, and you're there. You're in that top 4 race massively, as far as I'm concerned. I think, as I said, Man United's appointment will play a really big part, I think, in that. But yeah, it'll be very intriguing to see, mate, what goes on there. Henry, I appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say. And we'll chat again soon, brother.
Yeah, take care, mate. Cheers, guys.
Top man. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Leafs on the show next. I want to do some of your... Do you know what? I end up shouting. I realized this the other day. When I have earphones on, I end up... I do it that way around, right? I end up shouting when I talk because I can't hear myself. I'm very weird like that. See, as soon as I take my earphones off, I talk a little bit quieter, and my voice starts to hurt. Nasir says, this goes Spurs, West Ham, Spurs, Arsenal, all to finish above United. United fans enjoy Europa, is what Nasir's got to say here. Man, okay, Tommy's talking to somebody else. Twisty says, Conte hasn't got much to work with. He's done good. I've said this about Tottenham's team for a while. I think they've got better players than everybody likes to give them credit for. I think they have a better team than everybody likes to give them credit for. They have a better squad. They just went through a bad couple of year period where Nuno was struggling because he'd fell out with the board. They then appointed Jose Mourinho, which was an absolute disaster. They had the Ryan Mason situation, which wasn't really his fault. It's just taken them time to find their feet, and the players are out of sorts. Individuals want to leave. It's a bit of a mess in that dressing room right now. When that gets resolved, they have every chance of turning it around, in my view. I really do think they do. Love him no longer on loan at Valencia. I don't know what that's about. Antonio Conte. There we go. We're going to go to some more calls now. Alan's coming on soon, but first up, Leaf is here with me today. Be giving me some stick on Twitter as well, but Leaf's here to have his say. What do you want to say, buddy?
Hi. Yeah, I was honestly quite disappointed. Leeds have not been playing really well, and I think it wasn't an equal game, but they were playing really well in the first half. In the second half, we were the better team, but I was very disappointed by the players, including Kane.
Yeah, I understand that. but they stepped up in the second half. You saw that. It's going to take him a bit of time to adapt to Antonio Conte. Do you think it's a lack of effort, or do you just think it's the lack of ability that's going to hold you back?
I think it's a lack of effort because, as you said, our squad is better than a mid-table team. We are a top 6 to a challenging top 4 squad, and especially with the on-form Kane. I think some players are not good enough, like wings. I don't know why we are playing Lucas as a hold up striker. He needs to run, he needs to counterattack, and we're giving the ball far too easily when he's holding up the ball.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I do hear you on that. I think that there's a few like I'm reading the comments as you're saying that as well. I wanted to ask you, Harry Kane. Yeah. I know you were defending him online. Do you feel like he's really playing for you, the Tottenham fans? Do you really feel like he's giving every ounce of his ability to make sure Tottenham win?
Not at all. No, not at all. I don't think he's as bad as we need to get him out of the club. But I mean, let me say, if Conte wants to sell him, I have absolutely no problem with that. If he wants to keep him, then Kane has to perform, and if he doesn't perform, it will be down to him because we all know how good he is. He's 28 now. He needs to start scoring like he was before. Or like I said, I was really disappointed. It's a disappointment.
Excuse me, I hear you on that. I want to ask you about Antonio Conte, though. 3 games in, what's your early impressions of him and what he's going to do with your club?
I think, as you said, there will be relative success. So it's not like we're going to have success greater than our expectations. I hope he wins us a trophy. I'm very confident he will because I'm a very big fan of Conte. I rate him very highly. I really hope we back him because this is an opportunity. It's like I don't think we'll ever have the chance to appoint a very big manager. We have the opportunity now. No one went in for him. We have him, so we have to back him.
Yeah, absolutely. And on Harry Kane, back to him. Come January, sell him or keep him. What's your preference as things stand right now?
For what money?
100 million or more.
Sell him.
So as long as you get over 100 million pound, you'd say what would be the minimum you would accept for him now?
I think 110, 100, yeah, 100 would be good.
There we go. Leaf, appreciate your call, buddy. Thank you for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate that, my man. Thank you much indeed. Ro here. Long time no see, Ro. Hope you're well, brother. He says, Kante is the best midfielder in EPL history. He was man of the match in a Champions League final. Man of the match in a World Cup. He will win 3 league titles. He is better than Vieira, is what Ro's got. I mean, very random for this stream, but I always appreciate a super chat. I can't thank you more. Alan's on with me now. Alan's a big Tottenham fan. What do you want to say, brother? What do you want to say?
I'm just happy for some shots on target and a win. That's what I'm happy for. So it's been a long time coming.
Mate. I bet you are.
Yeah, so first half was absolutely shocking. No effort, no, fight from the players. It was just awful. Pretty much what it was under Nuno. And then all of a sudden, Conte gets into them at half time and you see a massive difference in them. Running, fight, passion, everything that there hasn't been for some time, which I hope from now on will just be from the start of every game. Still getting used to the system. There was times in that game where Reguilon and Royal had made overlapping runs and they weren't used, and then we were a bit disjointed when Leeds were countering us. That's why. So it's still a lot of work to be done there. I still think we need to have more in midfield, an extra person in midfield against the bigger teams, because Skip and Højbjerg or Skip and Winks or whoever he starts playing is going to get overrun by the better teams. I think he needs to drop. Well, I'd say more or Son, but why not Kane? Because he showed a bit of fight and determination in the second half, but he still doesn't look up for it. He can score at will for England, but not for Spurs. So I'd get rid of him in January still, unless he performs to the caliber he was last season for the rest of the season. Yeah, I would cash in on him, but it's positives and negatives for that game. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a slow, steady progress.
It will be, and I think in terms of the top four, I think what's really interesting, we don't know with Man. I'm going to take Man United out of this conversation because we have no idea when or who's going to be appointed right now, and that will change. And the appointment of it very much looks like an interim until the end of the season. Who that interim is going to change people's minds. It's going to, if the interim, look, we're going to give it to Fletcher until the end of the season, people are not going to fancy us for the top four. If it's Ragnick, they'll go, with this squad, they can make it. But what is good for Tottenham, as you're finding your feet for Antonio Conte, I don't think Arsenal or West Ham will be as consistent as some people are predicting. West Ham have drawn 2, lost 3, won 7. Arsenal have lost 4, drawn 2. Like, the only difference between you and Tottenham is you've lost one more game, but you've drawn less. You both won 6 each. So I don't think any of the teams fighting out for that top 4, that last Champions League spot, I don't think any of them are going to go on I honestly, between now and say March, I don't think any are going to go on more than a 3, maybe 4 game win streak. There are always going to be draws in there and defeats in there that give you the chance to kind of get through things. And if you can be within touching distance of the top 4 come January, and you're bored, deliver for Antonio Conte and give him those 1, 2, maybe 3 players that he is demanding in that month, I believe that Tottenham, with his ability, will do it. The only caveat I'll throw in, I might change my opinion on that should Man United bring in a really good manager, because our squad is so good. I would be stupid to write that off at that point. But it does look promising right now. It's just that work that as you said, working hard. And Harry Kane annoyed me today because I watched him play for England, and look, we played Albania and San Marino. With all due respect, you're playing Leeds. Like, I get sick and tired. I love Michael Richards, but I heard him say at halftime what a brilliant manager Bielsa is. I'm just sort of, honestly, every time someone says Bielsa is a brilliant manager, it kind of makes my body contort. I don't understand it. Like, in the second half, they had no shape. As soon as you lay a punch on Leeds, they fall apart. They're literally the football embodiment of Amir Khan. Like, the one punch gone. And I'm like, looking at Harry Kane, I'm thinking, bruv, why are you not working hard? Why are you not sticking it to him? Why are you being out-muscled, outworked, and everything else? And that for me is a frustrating bit. And that's what I think Antonio Conte will resolve. I think he's kind of giving people 5-6 games, showing what you're about. And I think he'll go into Levy's office and say, get this guy out, get him out, move him on. Tottenham would be better off. And I know he's just signed for Aston Villa, but I'm going to use him as an example. I'll use an Aston Villa example. Ollie Watkins or Dominic Calvert-Lewin are not as good as Kane. But Calvert-Lewin or Watkins playing for Tottenham, giving 100%, is better than Harry Kane giving 80% at the elite end of the spectrum. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in relation to that. How confident are you right now, though, of making the top 4? Do you think you can do it?
Well, it's still early in the season. It's not a massive points gap. You've got a world-class manager who's going to get the best out of the players. You've got a January transfer window, which by all intents and purposes, the reason why Conte comes because he's going to get backed and get what he wants. So with all that, it's looking positive that we've got a top 4, because I was having us as 7th or 8th under Nuno, maybe even worse. But under this manager, this early in the season, I don't see why not. Something else that some Spurs fans say that Harry Kane, the reason why he's not performing for Spurs, look what he has to play with. But it's pretty much exactly the same team under Mourinho last season as it is now. He's just not performing because he just doesn't want to be there. So that's why he should go. I believe Conte can get us top 4 plus maybe a trophy, depending on how he takes the Conference League. I think he wanted to play the best team against Vitesse for his first game to see what he was working with. I don't know if he's going to continue with that. He probably will because he likes to win trophies. I don't know. League Cup's a possibility, but if we got compared to the start of the season, if we were to end up with top 4 in a trophy, I'd consider that a good season.
If you finish in the top 4 and win any trophy, Conte's already more successful than Poch.
By standards, he is.
And this is what it's about. The standards are an important thing to kind of focus on because they are. It's. I had this conversation about players the other day, and I'm like, there's ability, and then there's success. Someone's ability, and then there's somebody's success. I think I was talking about Harry Maguire for England as a centre back. I probably wouldn't put him in the top 10 centre backs that we've had in the last 30, 40 years in terms of ability.
Yeah.
But him and John Stones are our most two successful since the class of 1966. And at the end of the day, when you're fans, yeah, it's great to, you guys will always know that Harry Kane, pound for pound, has been your best striker in the Premier League era.
Yeah.
Arguably, not your greatest ever. Jimmy Greaves has that title, but your best in the Premier League era.
Yeah.
If you have a striker, say Harry Kane leaves this summer, and then you bring in, I'm just going to use Ollie Watkins as an example, and he scores half the amount of goals, but wins a League Cup, FA Cup, and the Europa League, he's been more successful.
Yeah,
you lot will
definitely.
remember that more than all those goals.
Yeah.
Forget the ability, even to a degree, forget the outputs. Success is the key thing that we. So part of the reason we watch this sport, So yeah, it's going to be intriguing to see how that plays out. But Al, as ever, mate, pleasure to speak. We'll get you back in the studio. We've got to try and get you in for a Friday. I mean, the Friday night on the terrace the other night was a madness. We need to get you in on that, my brother.
Not a problem.
And we'll get you in, mate. But you're also a working man. You've got a job. It's hard when you have a job.
Indeed.
We record early. But listen, mate, I'll speak to you soon. Top man.
Take it easy.
In a bit. Cheers,
Thanks.
Al.
Bye.
Top man. Let's have a look at some of your comments coming through here. The pound for pound hero. The pound for pound hero is and stays Ousmane Dembele. So I don't understand that, but thank you. Carrick at the wheel. Carrick's not at the wheel. He's a caretaker manager. Relax. Man United fans have got to relax with this. They've got to relax with this, Legitimately got to relax. Kane looks like he's lost half a yard of pace. He does. I think that's an effort issue as opposed to a physical one. And maybe that's just me. Let's have a little look here. Spurs needed to get rid of that slithering sloth. 1 goal and 1 assist. Jesus wept. Yes, Stu, you're a Man City. I swear, Stu, you're a Man City fan. You were the man that won him, You man want the slithering sloth, as you would call him. Please get rid of Carrick before it gets worse. Man's got Carrick out and he's Man's got Carrick out and his handle, Come on. He's a caretaker. Relax. Just relax. It's all good. Terry, is Kane mentally weak? No. He's just... I'll give you an example. Have you ever... you're at work, right? And you're going on holiday on Friday. Saturday, you're flying out. You're going to the Mexico. Or you're going Lanzarote. Bit of Dubai. I don't know. I'm just throwing out some locations. Sort of generally by like Tuesday, Wednesday, you start shutting down. You don't perform as well at work. It's like, I'm in holiday mode. I just want to be gone now, right? That's where Kane is. Kane's in this kind of mental state. It's not weakness. It's natural. He doesn't want to be there. It's either, whether it's conscious or subconscious, he's just not given as much effort because he doesn't want to be there. That's the long and the short of it, really. That is the long and the short of it, really. It's as simple as that. Bear with me a second. Hang on a sec. I've got to send someone a link. My guy, Josh, man like Josh King's trying to come on. But I sent him the link and the link's broken, he said. Well, he sent me a screenshot that says broken. I do believe him. I don't think he's lying. Where's my guy at? Right. I've resent him the link. It should work this time. Oh, I know why. I sent it to him and there was a K missing off the end. But it'll work this time, Joshy boy. I know you're watching. I know you're there or thereabouts. I know you're there or thereabouts. Get yourself on, mate. Want to hear from you right now. Make sure that like button is smashed, people. You can have a little bit of a guess at the Football Terrace secret phrase as well. If you fancy winning a PlayStation 5 Cristiano Ronaldo's boots, a limited edition Boohoo Man hoodie, and £100 in cash. It's all on you. You got to guess it. Give it a guess. What is the secret football phrase? Kane scored 4 goals against some under 14 boys. The English media was all hype. You lot have got an obsession with the English media's hype over its players. They're going to do it. I'm pretty sure every nation's media hype their national team players. Just relax about it, bruv. Relax. It's not that important. So he's unprofessional. If you want to call him unprofessional, call him unprofessional. Like, that's on you, bruv. If you think that's unprofessional, say it. Terry's examples are hilarious. Yeah, but Sarim, brother. You know what I'm saying is true, right? I'm just trying. It's even worse when you want to leave. You know, when you make your mind up to leave a company. That's why in my old industry in banking, once you get that notice in, they put you on gardening leave. They didn't want your ass in the office chatting about the new job you're going to that's got better pay and a better pension, upsetting everyone. They didn't want you being lazy. Like legit. legit. Do you know what? Someone's had a little guess here at the Football Terrace. If we hit 500 likes, I'm going to give you the biggest clue ever to getting the secret phrase right. Because this comment is related to it. So let's get past 500, normally 1,000 likes, 500 likes, and I will give you the biggest clue ever. Josh is coming on now to have his say on the terrace. Well, he was, and now hang on, there he is. He's got his phone back. There he's back. Josh is, how you going, bruv? You good?
Good. It's been a long time, Terry. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, bruv. I'm good. Yeah, long time no speak. Conte's at the wheel. 2 wins from 3 games. Undefeated. Top 4 races on. What are you saying?
I wouldn't say, that 2 wins from 3 games, it's like one of them's for test, isn't it? So I'm not going to put too much pressure on him right now. I think what today showed that first half is that we have a severe lack of quality. Like we really do. Like can you hear me, by the way?
Yep.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, it's a bit delayed. Yeah, I think that we have a severe lack of quality, and people have got to realise that a lot of it was the managers, but a lot of it was our squad as well. Like we really don't have, like, when you've got Winks and even Højbjerg. Like, Højbjerg's good at what he does, but he's not a midfielder that's going to pick a brilliant pass for you. He's not going to break a press. He's not going to do those things that you need some midfielders to do. And I feel like that first half, I was thinking, shit, this looks just like Nuno's Spurs. So I'm really happy that we came on strong in the second half and stuff. But at the same time, there's a lot of work to be done, basically.
Yeah, no, mate, I agree with you. There's definitely a lot of work that needs to happen. I'm just going to mute your line because I'm getting a bit of echo back, but it's all good. Yeah, there's definitely some work that needs to happen. But you've just got a man in his pomp. Like, I'm a big Nuno fan, to be fair. Everybody knows that. And I just think because he was like 19th choice or something, there was never buy-in to him from the fans, from the players. It's just a terrible appointment. But you can see Conte is going to get you guys playing. And it may not be always in the mold that you want. It may not always be the most beautiful, the most scintillating, but it'll get it to work. And once he's added 1 or 2 players of his own and got rid of a few players, I do think what you've got in your squad, and I think Dele Alli is one of them, you've got people that are there just like taking a wage, not really working, don't really want to be there. Once he gets rid of those guys, gets rid of those slackers, and he brings in players that want to work for him. And I'm sure what he might try and do is bring in, like Harry Redknapp used to always sign, what's his name? Who was that guy he always used to sign was it Luca?
Jermaine Defoe?
He signed him a lot, but I swear there was a guy, the Croatian guy, that he signed everywhere he went. I want to say it was Croatian. He might not be Croatian, but yeah, there's a player that he always signed. I want to say it was Luca or somebody, but either way, there might be a player that he looks at as like his go-to guy that comes in and everything else. And yeah, I think you're going to do just fine, mate. And as I've said already, depending Man United's managerial appointment, you're making top 4. Depending on who we bring in, I might change. But right now, as it stands, you're making top 4. You are.
You can't say that quickly. You can't say that quickly.
Yes, you can. You've got. Sorry, one
second. Terry. I retweeted your tweet saying how awful we were first half.
Yes.
So how would 45 minutes of football make you think that we're making top 4?
Because I predicted that before, just as you signed in, before I see a ball kicked. Because then the way you played in that second half, over the next 10 games, there's 2 things here. Over the next 10 games, you're going to start to see that more and more frequently. That will be slowly instilled into your team. So I wouldn't call it a slow burner, but it's like a medium burn. It takes a little bit of time to warm up, right? Remember the old-fashioned cars where the heater took ages to warm up and you were freezing for the first 10 minutes of your drive? That's Antonio Conte. Equally, nobody else that's vying for top 4 is consistent enough to get a big enough lead that you can't pull back. And then once Antonio Conte has got you purring, you've got that world-class manager. That's the difference. World-class managers will earn you an extra 15 points a season. And again, as I've said, unless our Man United's appointment for the interim or permanent is done and it's of top-class level, you'll finish in front of Arsenal and in front of West Ham, in my opinion. And that's not based on that. That second half is what we'll just see more and more of. I think that's why, again, if Arsenal were like capable of winning 7-8 games on the bounce, which I don't think they are, Man United are not capable of that. West Ham are not capable of that. You will be, once Antonio Conte gets his feet under the table, I think he'll make you that good. That's how much I rate him as a manager. Like legitimately. He's that good, in my opinion. He's that good. He's what Jose Mourinho was 10, 15 years ago.
10 years.
Yeah. So that's why.
The other thing I wanted before I go, I wanted to say, am I right in thinking, was it Alan that was like harping on Harry Kane just before?
Yeah.
I think Harry Kane, his first half performance, he was the best player on the pitch. I honestly think that he was the only one that was really trying in that first half. He's obviously got a new second win because of Conte. I do think, obviously, he messed up that chance and he wasn't that great in the second half. But when we were at our worst, I think Harry Kane was the best player on the pitch. So I wouldn't say that he's playing like he wants to leave right now. I think that he knows that he probably can't leave unless a team comes in with a big offer, which is unlikely. Like, who's really going to come in at this point in January with a big offer? Do you know what I mean? So he's doing the best he can. He's got Conte there now. He might as well see if he can win with Conte. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and he might very well have to. He may be forced into that situation where if nobody comes back in for him, I think Man City might revisit it. They've only lost like 4 months of not having him in their team. Depending on who Man United bring in, I know we've got Edison Cavani, but a deal could very well be done for Cavani to go back to South America where he wants to be. And I mean,
You're not
I'd be
playing
happy.
Ronaldo on top.
Oh, you could, but it means Bruno would be dropped because Kane can drop deeper. Ronaldo just in front of him. I'm saying that if Harry Kane was motivated, suddenly he'd have some pace. Like, Harry Kane isn't that slow. I'm not saying he's electric, but when he's on it, he's not. He's one of those players that's like deceptively quick. He's a lot quicker than you think he's going to be. You put him in a team with Ronaldo and they'd ball out through the middle. Like him and Ronaldo would be one of the most perfect partnerships in football because Harry Kane is technically an amazing footballer.
But what I'm saying is that he wants to go. If he's going to leave Tottenham, where he's one of our own, where he's the marketing tool, where he is everything to Tottenham fans, or, you know, supposedly he is leaving for guaranteed trophies. He cannot get that at Man United right now.
If we appoint Darren Fletcher permanent, guaranteed trophies, bruv. No, I do hear you. Harry, he might reject us. I'm aware of that. It's literally there's one club in England that can sign him, and that's Man City. And they must still be interested in if you were willing to do it in Jan. If you could bring Vlahovic in Jan, I think Kane could go. I think he could go.
I would. I'd take that. I would actually take that right now. Like if you told me we get 130 for Kane and then we get Vlahovic for 70, I'd take that right now.
It was Nico Cranshaw. That was the name of the player. That was him. He literally.
I
honestly think Harry Redknapp loves Cranshaw more than he loves Jamie. If I'm being honest, like I wouldn't be surprised. I bet he buys Nicola Cranshaw a better Christmas present than he buys Jamie. Like 100%. Is the phrase great?
Have you seen him and Jamie arguing?
Yeah, I can imagine it being like Jamie comes home for the weekend and he goes up to his old bedroom he grew up in as a kid, and Cranchard's in there asleep. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? 100%. Harry Redknapp's got Cranchard on his screensaver on his phone. The secret phrase isn't greatest EPL goal scorer. If we hit 500 likes, the clue I'm going to give you is going to give it away. You are going to bombard me with super chats. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Are you shooting, bro?
No, I was just saying, I was trying to get them to like the stream.
Oh, right. Sorry. I didn't know. I thought you got them off. I thought you said you're off. Don't believe Kane is being unprofessional. Hard to give that extra physical effort when I'm motivated. He doesn't want to be there and feels wronged. He definitely does. Laurent Blanc as a possible interim. I think Laurent Blanc to the end of the season is fine. If that's what we do, it means we're after somebody big. It means if we're waiting until the end of the season, it means Zidane, Ten Hag, or Poch. It means one of those three, because I can't see who else would be looking at in the summer. So yeah, I'd be happy with. Again, I wouldn't be angry about
now,
that.
yeah.
All right, bro. Take care, mate. I'll speak to you soon.
Take
Top
care.
man. Cheers, Josh. There's Josh. This guy I don't think he's using a Nokia phone. He is where he is. He's down an alley. We've got a Leeds fan, man like Joe, coming on in a minute. Lukaku will win the league at Old Trafford. He will score and knee slide at the Stretford end. We will be 54 points on December 31st. Interesting. Thank you, Ro. Man like Joe is here now. What you saying, brother?
Yeah, I'm gutted, mate. I'm gutted, I can't lie. I thought we were great in that first half, Terry. Yeah. And then just went to pot, didn't it? Went to pot, and Spurs showed up. I thought the goal was always coming, obviously. They hit the post and the crossbar. Dan James had an opportunity, I feel like, because, do you know, like... I didn't watch a lot of him at Manchester United and a lot this final ball. Now seeing it in the flesh, there's times at Ellen Road where I've gone, I think I could have crossed a better ball than him. Yeah. So today, seeing him get on the score sheet, and then he started running at his man. He started running at Ben Davies. He had a chance just in between them hitting the post and the crossbar, the outside of the foot, which just went wide. Yeah. I feel like he's joined the party. Okay, there's still loads of room for improvement, but I thought Jack Harrison, who's not been great this season, did really well for the first goal. I'm sorry
to laugh. I'm sorry.
Go on, Michael Van Gerwen. It's the trash man. It's for November. I'm doing it for November. I don't normally rock this. Let me just say that. This is for November.
I know. It just made me Michael Van Gerwen. I don't watch a lot of darts, but I know who he is, and that made me die. But yeah, no, Dan James, a lovely kid, but he just the end product is so limited within him. And when you guys paid what you did for him from us, I was shocked because a lot of people put it down to Ollie and not training him well. I'm like, nah, Dan James has just got an issue. If Dan James didn't have pace, he'd be a League One football player.
Do you reckon that bad? Do you reckon?
Yeah, I used to think that about Theo Walcott. I think some players that have got without their speed, what else do they do? And maybe that's because as a kid he had so much pace, he didn't work on certain elements of his game because he always at a particular level he was always able to burn people and skin people. Where he can be like where he could be utilized, where he scored your goal today. I didn't see enough of that from him at Man United coming in from that because of his speed. Even if you react, he can beat someone. Like over the first 10 yards, there are very few players in the world that are as quick as him. You need a bit more of that. But yeah, his crossing can sometimes be really poor. Or it's not even really a bad cross. It's like he'll delay it. You think cross, and then he leaves it that split second or a second too long. And by then, a defender's set and they can clear it. It's so frustrating.
Yeah. No. There was one today, like even in the first half, he crossed it and it went out for a throw. And there has been too much of that. And I feel like for Leeds this season, it's mad because we were linked with Noah Lang, who's been smashing it at Club Brugge. Got the man of the match against PSG when he's playing against Messi and Neymar, and we decided to go for Dan James and pay 25 million. We were linked with Maxwell Cornet, and we decided to go for Firpo over Cornet, and Cornet's ripping it up at Burnley. So that's another one we missed. And then obviously Conor Gallagher was done. And then Palace come in and he's like, I'm staying in London. So he goes to Vieira, and now I think he's got the most goal involvements for any midfielder this season. So I just think it's made me realise, Terry, in the Premier League, them fine moments in matches, but it also translates to the transfer market. Because if Leeds sign Maxwell Cornet and Conor Gallagher, we're in a totally different position to where we're at currently.
Yeah.
And it just shows you, man.
Absolutely. And teams find you out really quickly. They look at how you play, and it's a case of, okay, well, we know how to nullify large parts of your game. What are you going to do? And by adding the better quality players each year, you throw that extra bit of individual brilliance into a game. You look at the Man City game today. They comfortably won 3-0. But the two goals they scored came from individual brilliance. Like the system's there to prop them up, but then the pass from Cancelo and the shot from Rodri separates them. You know, you guys got into really good positions, and you should have put the game to bed for me in that first half, and you didn't. And then it allowed Tottenham to be able to respond, and that's been kind of Leeds' problem so far in the Prem, which is why I have the issue with people calling Bielsa a great manager. It's not. I think there's elements of him that are brilliant, but I've just got an issue with the word "great" being put next to his name, and then the same pundit 10 minutes later will say, "Oh, Wenger was a great manager." I'm like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Do you know what I mean? It's kind of them ones there, isn't it? Like, it's like having I'm good at karaoke, but you can't say like I'm as good as Adele. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them ones there. It's I haven't listened to I've seen a lot of people slagging her album off. I might give it a little listen.
Oh, mate, I've listened to it. I think I'm part of the reason she's in like all the top tens. Or the top 10 at the minute is 1 to 10 of Adele. I think I'm part of the problem, mate. It's a great album.
There we go. I'll give that a little listen later. But how do you think you're going to do this year? Do you think you can go down? Do you think you could go down, mate?
No, I don't, Terry, right? I genuinely don't, but I've said it a number of times. We're definitely in a scrap. And obviously this weekend was brutal for us because Watford did what they did. And then, you know, which I enjoyed, of course. But now it means that Ollie's not there, so I'm gutted about that. But obviously Watford did what they did. Burnley draw. Norwich get their result. Newcastle. So all the results went against us. And December, so we now have we've now got Brighton, Palace, and Brentford. Then after that, in December, we have a run of Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, City, all like back to back. So if we don't get results in these next three, then come January, after that December running, we could be in a really bad shape. And Bielsa notoriously doesn't bring players in January, but I feel the current state of the squad, the numbers, like they were all kids on the bench. We had no one that was going to improve the team today because they were all kids. You know, you had a 15-year-old going there today, Archie Gray, who's the nephew of Eddie Gray, one of our legends, and he's going to be a kid, but he's 15. He's 15, bro. You know
Yeah, 15-year-olds dominate. Like, I've only seen one 15-year-old dominate games consistently in the Premier League, and that was Wayne Rooney. And he was built like a 25-year-old man at 15 as well. So that's so hard to do. And I hear you on that. It's gonna be interesting. January. I think January could be a very interesting month for the Prem. Newcastle, Villa, Tottenham, all sort of promising to spend big.
Yeah.
I think that's going to have to trigger other people to spend money at the same time, because they're obviously going to take players from certain Premier League clubs. Yeah. And it's how everybody responds to that. It really, really is. Bro, I really appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say.
Terry. Thank you for having me, bro.
Well done for rocking that tash as well, brother. And I'll speak to you soon. Take care, mate. Man. Top man. Listen, everybody that's tuned in today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Smash that like button before you leave. Remember, tomorrow night, 6 p.m., the Bet Victor Top 6 show is back. We did 88,000 and 106,000 views on those podcasts last week. And I could say nothing more than thank you to each and every single one of you. It's beyond humbling to see the show do so well. Lots more to come from us, though. We're only just beginning at the Football Terrace in our journey forward. And thank you to everybody that's making it possible. Until next time, take care. Good.